During 10 years' time, from 2007 to 2017, British cyclists won 178 World Championships, 66 Olympic gold medals, 5 Tour de France victories, and became the most successful cyclist in the world. You'd be amazed to know that British cyclists were considered the worst cyclists in the world for an entire century from 1900 until 2007 because they only won one gold medal in the entire century. The question is, how did this change happen? What did they do to turn their fate around? All of this was possible due to one strategy of their coach Brailsford, which is known as the aggregation of marginal gains. He believed that tiny improvements in everything you do will result in large overall improvement. He trained his team to improve every aspect of cycling by just 1%. It took 5 years to accumulate those tiny improvements into mighty ones. It is so easy to overestimate the value of one deciding moment and underestimate the value of tiny little improvements on a daily basis. According to James Clear, 1% improvement every day for the whole year can give you 38 times better results. As Zig Ziglar said, there is no elevator to success. You have to climb the stairs. Brailsford only made his team develop tiny habits, and ultimately they became successful. As the saying goes, the winners and the losers have same goals. The process makes the difference. Impact of change in habit is similar to change in direction of an airplane. For instance, an airplane going from LA to New York can land in Washington if its route is changed by 3.5 degrees only. Similarly, a small change in our habit can guide our life to a different destination. Therefore, we must be concerned with our current trajectory instead of current results, because success is the result of our daily habits. Habits are compound interests of our daily actions. Habits can compound for you or against you. Habits compounding can determine your physical, financial, and mental destiny. For instance, your spending habits will ultimately determine your financial destiny. Your eating habits will determine your physical destiny. Similarly, your learning habits will determine your knowledge. Habit of continuously thinking about negative things and stressing about them will make you sick and unhappy. In short, your health, wealth, happiness, success, and failure depend on your habits. Now let's discuss the underlying process behind the development of a habit. Number 1, cue. Cue is basically the hint for a reward. For instance, if you receive a notification on your phone, the notification is a cue. Number 2, craving. Craving is basically the desire to see the notification. And number 3, response. When you pick up your phone to see the notification, this is the third step in building a habit. And number 4, reward. And when you pick up your phone and see the notification, finally you are satisfied. And if you repeat this process for a certain number of times, then your habit will be developed. As Warren Buffett said, first you make your habits and then habits make you. The question is how to develop good habits. There are 4 laws for habit development. Number 1, make it obvious. This law has 4 subcomponents. A, make a habit scorecard and rate your current habits. For instance, if you have good habits, rate them from 0 to 10. If you have bad habits, rate them from -10 to 0. This will help you to become conscious of your unconscious behavior. As Carl Jung said, until you make unconscious conscious, this will direct your life and you will call it fate. B, use implementation intention. This is basically specification of time and place. For instance, I will drink water at 4 p.m. in my office. So I have specified time and place for performing a habit. C, use habit stacking. This is basically combination of 2 habits. For instance, I will meditate for 2 minutes after brushing my teeth in the morning. D. Design your environment to make your cues visible and obvious. For instance, if you want to eat food, you must place it on the table in your bedroom or in the lounge. Now let's discuss second law, which states that make it attractive. It has 3 components. A. Temptation bundling. It is pairing of an action you need to perform with an action you want to perform. For instance, if you need to exercise and you want to listen to music, exercise while listening to music. B. Join a culture where your desired behavior is a norm. For instance, if you want to eat healthy food, hang around the places where people eat healthy food. C. Create a motivational ritual. Do something you enjoy right after a difficult habit. For instance, if you enjoy watching movie, watch it right after the exercise. Now let's discuss third law, which is make it easy. It also has subcomponents. A. Reduce the friction between you and your desired habit. For instance, if you want to play badminton, place the accessories where you can easily access them and where you can easily see them. Otherwise, you won't be able to perform it. B. Alter the environment to make the desired action easy. For instance, if you want to play the guitar, take it out of the box and place it in your living or drawing room. C. Master the decisive moments. Take the decisions timely to avoid Detroit effect. Detroit effect is the effect which triggers the cue for next actions or next behavior. We can observe this while shopping. We often tend to shop those things as well which we don't need. D. Use 2-minute rule. This rule is really interesting and I have used it myself and it works wonders. For instance, if you want to play piano or guitar, just pick up the guitar and play it for 2 minutes. And you do it daily, and after some repetitions, you will be able to master it. The fourth law is make it satisfying. If you wash your hands with a certain soap and you like the fragrance of the soap, you are more likely to repeat it. You can use the reinforcement to make your habits satisfying. For instance, if you work out for 5 days, you give yourself a treat by watching movie. These were 4 laws for developing a good habit. As Brian Tracy said, successful people are the ones with successful habits. Now, how to break bad habits? What is the process to break bad habits? This process also follows those 4 laws which we already discussed, but in this case, those laws will be inverted. The first law will become make it invisible. We have to make the cues invisible so that we won't repeat the habit. And number 2, make it unattractive. For instance, if you want to quit smoking, you need to make it unattractive by thinking about the consequences of smoking. Number 3, make it difficult. In this case, you need to increase the number of steps between you and your undesired behavior or your bad habit. For instance, if you want to watch less television, you need to keep the remote control at certain place where it is difficult to pick up, and you will make this task very difficult. Finally, make it unsatisfying. How can you do this? There are 2 primary ways to do this. Number 1, get an accountability partner. For instance, whenever you will perform something bad or you will indulge in your bad habit, you need to tell that accountability partner that you are doing this, or that partner will tell you that you are going away from your desired behavior. So in this way, you will be less likely to repeat the process because you know that someone is watching your behavior. Number 2, assign punishments for your bad behavior. For instance, if you skipped exercise, you should not pick up the mobile phone for an entire day. This will be your punishment. We are what we do repetitively on daily basis. Habits are not formed based on the duration of an action, but the repetition of that action. Now, I will ask you to write down all the habits you want to develop in next 1 year.